But still you are feeling this is difficult, huh? Okay, I'll do one thing. You do one thing. What are the difficult problem? You post it in the doubt group. I'll solve it and repost it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Of course, here and there you'll be, at least what I'm saying is out of 25 questions, you are able to answer 20 questions. Out of 25, how many are able to answer? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Out of 25, are able to answer 20, I'm saying, or 15.
10 to 15, sir.
15, sir.
Okay. You have to put in more work then, because it's a deciding chapter, no? Deciding subject, no? So can you post the doubts in the evening? See, usually I won't give easy papers, there's no use. Don't worry about marks. You put all your efforts and sincerity. Okay. You post that, and by night I'll post the solutions. Okay. For an observer on ground, what do you learn that? A boat or man or something, or a swimmer, anything. He may say anything. Always moves in the direction of what you have seen, the resultant velocity. A particle always moves in the direction of velocity, no?
Yes, sir.
With respect to water and velocity. This is what we learned, remember?
Yes, sir.
That means what I mean to say is a man with respect to water or boat with respect to water, we have taken velocity of man with respect to ground minus velocity of water with respect to ground. Okay, so we want for a person observer on the ground, what we need, he observes that it is the resultant of this, no? Resultant velocity of man with respect to water plus velocity of water. Do you agree with this? Nothing is mentioned. It is understood that it is with respect to ground only. Agreed? Hello?
Sir. Agreed, sir. Yes, sir. Agreed.
Right. We are just collecting what you learned earlier. So we have seen that, suppose if we have seen that this is a river, this is one shore, this is one shore or shore, this is the other bank. Now in between, there is this, we say the width of the river is this. This is nothing but width of the river. Means from here to here. Now a person, so we'll start here. So let us fix the coordinates of this. This is the x-axis, anyway you can fix. This is y. So here x is 0, y is 0. The person starts at t equals to 0. So he is moving at some arbitrary angle. This is the velocity of man with respect to water. Okay, this is the river velocity. This is velocity of water. Nothing is mentioned with respect to ground only. Followed? This is the velocity of man with respect to water. Now you can see, as per the vector rules, this plus velocity of water with respect to ground. What is this? Velocity of water with respect to ground. Do you agree with this? So what I
Yes, sir.
said, for an observer, a boat moves in the direction of resultant velocity. Sum of these two vectors is this vector only, no? Velocity of man with respect to water plus velocity of water with respect to ground. This is the resultant velocity or not?
Sir.
Agreed.
Yes, sir.
So this is the resultant velocity, I can say. Okay, this is nothing but resultant velocity. Understood? So anyhow, we can leave this as non-equal. So that means it depends upon this vector. It is directed here, he will reach here. If it is directed here, he will reach. That all depends upon these two quantities. Okay. That means the person will reach here. Understood this? This is X. Do you agree with this? See, he makes an angle theta with this. This is what we learned in the last class. Agreed? And I told you that velocity of water, velocity of swimmer in still water. What is the meaning of that? Velocity of man in still water means, in the problem will give, means velocity of man when what? Water is at rest. Do you agree with this? That means we need velocity of man with respect to water. That is the meaning. And after that, we need these distances are with respect to ground. So first thing we should get is velocity of man with respect to ground. So using the relative velocity concept, we will get this. So we get velocity of man with respect to ground is velocity of man with respect to water plus velocity of water with respect to ground. Do you agree with this? Clear? So this is understood, isn't it?
Understood, sir.
So now you can see, you can resolve this into two components. If you observe carefully, this can be resolved into two components. One is this component, the other is this component. This is VMW sine theta. What is this? VMW cos theta. So we want just resolve this into vectors, nothing else. So you will be getting this as, you can write like this. What is this? Man with respect to water. In which direction? Sine theta minus psi cap plus man with respect to water cos theta j cap. This is the velocity of man with respect to water, and water is flowing in which direction? I direction. That means totally you have, do you agree with this? This is what we learned earlier. I'm just making a recollection of what we have done. Till here you followed?
Yes, sir. Follow, sir.
So always first thing is he will give this. You have to find this, nothing else. Clear?
Clear, sir.
Shall I turn the page?
1 minute, sir.
1 minute, sir. It's not clear.
Screen is not clear.
Clear,
No,
sir.
no, sir. It is clear.
Somewhat not clear.
Hmm? From my side, it should be clear only.
Sir, it is problem on their side.
I think your network problem, just to temporarily log out and log in. Because now I have taken a dedicated line, network issues will not come to my knowledge.
Sir, in this diagram, velocity
Ah.
of man with respect to ground, where will it come, sir?
Velocity of man,
With respect to ground. Where
this one only, no? Here. Some of this, what is this? This is only velocity of man with respect to ground. No?
Yes, sir.
Completed, sir.
1 minute.
Completed?
Yes, sir. 1 minute, sir. Yes, sir. Completed.
Right. Now we have seen that the man, though he starts at one point, so for example, he starts at one end, he is not reaching that point. For example, this is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. He is aiming his boat like this. The velocity of man with respect to water. He is aiming. But however, what is happening is the water will be pushing him like this. Water with respect to ground. So this is the resultant velocity of the person. It is nothing but vector sum of man plus vector sum of water. Okay. Now what is his displacement? He starts here at t equals to t. He lands up here. As you know, this is the width of the river. This is x is 0, y is 0, t is 0. So this is suppose x. So what are these coordinates of this? X comma y is equal to z. Do you agree with this or not? Okay. Then we have seen that time of crossing the river, time taken to reach the other bank. That is only we call it as the time of crossing the river. That is nothing but, you know, that delta y by velocity of man with respect to ground. In which direction? Along which direction? Y direction.
Y direction.
So this is nothing but L minus 0. What is the velocity of man with respect to ground in the y direction? You already got.
Velocity
What do
of
you
water with respect to ground minus
Hmm.
velocity of
No, no,
water.
no. Y component, velocity of man with respect to
BMW cos
ground.
theta. BMW cos
Hmm.
theta.
Okay, the x component is this. L by velocity of man means what is given into cos theta. Okay, so here you want is displacement. Displacement in the x direction is final x coordinate minus initial x coordinate. This is x. Okay, this is nothing but velocity of man with respect to ground in which direction? X direction. Okay, into time. The velocity of man with respect to ground in the x direction, you have seen that this is nothing but velocity of man with respect to this sine theta into what is t got L by VMW sine cos theta. Till here you followed? Any doubt is there till here?
No, sir.
So finally you got this. Therefore, what is his displacement of man? Displacement of man with respect to ground. Okay, is nothing but delta x I cap plus delta y j cap. This is xi plus lj, where x you can find like this. Followed this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The Pythagoras theorem also we can find, sir.
Which one?
This displacement.
No, that will be giving you magnitude, no? Magnitude of displacement, you will get that. But direction? Understood this? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Now, shall I turn the page?
1 minute.
You're understanding what is being taught at least?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, at assignments you're getting at least few.
Yes, sir.
No, I just want to know why you're unable to perform in the exam. You want any topic to be repeated? You'll take extra class during night time and do it if you want.
Yes, sir.
I cannot cut short and change the syllabus now. Complete this.
1 minute. Done.
Completed?
Yes.
Now, let us see. Suppose that fellow wants to cross the river in the shortest time. The question is to cross the river in shortest time. You can see that what is time of crossing we got? Time of crossing the river is L by VBR cos theta. You got this now? Or BW, I think. Everything is same. We got velocity of man with respect to water cos theta, or boat with respect to river. Anything you may give. Okay. Now you can see in this water constants mean L and VMU are constant because you cannot go and change the width of the river, no? Nor you cannot control the velocity of the river, no? Can you control that? You can't. And your velocity with respect to ground also is constant because you are not having acceleration. So what will happen? T depends upon what? Cos theta. Do you agree with this? When T will be minimum? T will be
Theta will be
minimum
0.
if and only if cos theta is maximum.
0.
That means that is equal to 1. Theta equals to 0. So the minimum time taken to cross the river will be understood to this extent. Agreed. Now you can see, no doubt, he tries to cross the river in minimum time. So he should make in what angle? He has to cross the river. So this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. So this is the velocity of water with respect to ground. Now that fellow theta is 0 means in which direction he has to swim? Theta is 0 means what do you have to do? You should go like this now. Hello? Theta is the angle made with the perpendicular. That means his velocity vector, his velocity of man with respect to water must be in this direction. Agreed? So
Yes, agreed, sir.
that means to cross river in minimum time, the man should velocity of man with respect to water is directed perpendicular to river. Agreed?
Agreed, sir.
Till here you followed? Clear? No. Shall I turn the page?
Yes.
Shall I turn this?
Sir, if cos theta becomes 90 degrees, then it will go to infinity now.
Pardon?
Sir, if cos theta becomes 90 degrees, it will become infinity now, sir, time.
Theta is 0, no?
No, sir, if theta is 90, I'm asking if
Theta,
theta is
theta is 90 means this side he will go. Time take is infinity means he will never reach the opposite point, no?
sir.
If you go like this, time will be infinity. That means that fellow can never reach the opposite point. Correct or consistent with the observed data only, no? Am I right or not?
Yes, sir, right.
Shall I turn this, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, see, suppose it's a river. This is the velocity of water with respect to ground. So remember that this direction is called downstream, means down the river. What is it called? Down the stream means along the river. Means direction. They'll use this word, you should understand, no? Direction along river flow. Whereas this is upstream. Okay, now you can see when this person tries to cross the river in minimum time. Just now we have seen that the person wants to cross the minimum time. For that, you know that he has to swim like this for minimum time. This is nothing but velocity of man with respect to water. However, there is another velocity. What is that? The river will push him, no? And this will be the resultant velocity, no? Do you agree with this or not? This is velocity of man with respect to ground. Do you agree with this? Hello?
Yes, sir. Agree, sir.
Sure.
So here the man reaches this point. This is followed. So in this case, if man wants to cross river in minimum time, he cannot reach the diametrically opposite point of his starting point. Can he reach? So he will reach some other point, that is A. Clear? So he reaches point B. So see, you do something by force. What do you call, man? For example, you want to go to a film. Your father pulls you and keeps in the car and brings to college. What is that? One word is there in English. What is that? Anything which flows due to external forces is called a drift. What is that called? Drift. Anything which flows due to concentration difference. That means, for example, in a room that 10,000 people are packed in a hall, suddenly the door is open. All people try to come out now. What is that process called? From higher density to lower density, there is one word. What is that called? Diffusion. What is that called? Diffusion. If you spray a scent bottle, it will be spreading throughout room. Why? The particles, when you are pressing that, they are at high density in that near the bottle. They try to go at lower density. So motion from high density to low density is called diffusion. Motion due to an external force is called as a drift. Okay. So this drift is nothing but X. Is forced, no. He doesn't want to go here. He wants to go here. So X is drifted, no. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
So that means this is nothing but X is what already you got here. Previously, write the value of X. X is nothing but velocity of man with respect to ground. In which direction? X direction into T. This is nothing but velocity of water with respect to ground minus sine what angle? 0 into T. Do you agree with this? So finally this is 0. Any doubt is there? What is the minimum time already you got here? L by velocity of man with respect to water. Any doubt is there, man, till here?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear or not?
Here only, sir.
Right, no. Drop off. Completed when? Hello.
1 minute, sir.
That means even though he wants to reach, he cannot reach there. Why? He is adopting what, man? Shortest time. Clear? Minimum time. Hello?
Yes, sir.
That means, remember, what is the moral of the story? Physics teaches you a lot of morals, man. You want to complete some work in short minimum time, you will never reach the end. That is the goal you want. You will reach somewhere else. For example, whole year you neglect studies. Last minute you want to study to get into it. You won't reach. You will reach in some private useless college. So always, that's the reason why nature gives you some time to do everything. Okay. So the moral of the story is always don't neglect the work you're supposed to do. Understood this?
Yes, sir.
You understood this or moral?
Both, sir.
Both, sir.
Very good. Now you can see that what he is a resultant velocity now is regard displacement. So resultant velocity means velocity of man with respect to ground. Magnitude you can take. Now they are perpendicular only, no? Do you agree with this? And where does he land if they ask? You can take this. He lands at tan alpha equals x by L. Anything you may ask. Understood this? Depending on the problem, you have to go ahead. Is it clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Clear, sir.
You want any repetition, anything, please tell me. I will repeat it by taking extra class in evenings. This class will continue like this. Shall I turn the page? Suppose you want any problem to be explained, you can ask me. Pardon? Right.
Sir, that is modulus, sir, under the root.
Mod on, no? How do you get this?
Yes, sir.
Mod of two vectors on them. Like this, he may ask anything. Where does it flow? If you want to cross the river in shortest time, what is the angle made with the resultant velocity with the perpendicular to the river? Anything he may ask. Shall I turn this?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Right. Note on this. Completed?
1 minute, sir. Wait, sir.
Completed, sir.
Now directly you can do all
One
questions. Okay?
minute,
1
sir.
minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute.
Those who completed reading this, no, you can solve the problem. Everything is given minimum time taken by the boat to reach the opposite bank, he is asking. He is crossing in a direction perpendicular to the river, 10 meters per second with respect to water. That means velocity of man with respect to water is directed perpendicular to the river. That means what is theta? 0 only, no? Data is the substitute and get that. Shall I turn this?
1 minute.
Finish?
Yes, sir.
See here, as per the question, you can see that fellow has, read the question carefully, it's very easy one. Velocity of man with respect to water is given. That means what is time L by velocity of man with respect to water cos theta. So here theta is 0. So you have time, minimum time of crossing only, no? He gave that width of the river. How much is that? 400 meters. And the velocity of man with respect to water is 10. So that comes to around 40 seconds. This is 40 seconds. Minimum time. You got this? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, till here you followed or not?
Alright, sir.
Followed, sir.
So now what is the second one he is asking? How far from the starting point means he is supposed to reach here. Okay. He is asking if he reaches here. This is what is called as a drift only, no? So the second question is, it's nothing but drift. This is nothing but velocity of man with respect to water. In which direction? In x direction. Remember, into the minimum time. Okay. Substitute what all you got here. Already man with respect to water in the x direction you got.
80, sir.
That is nothing but what do you have already found.
10.
That is velocity of water with respect to ground, no, sir. That should be F.
Yes, sir.
Water respect to the ground, sir.
With theta is 0, no? Here theta is 0. Substitute that value, you'll get that.
Sir, you wrote that
So
man
then
is
velocity of
respect to
water.
ground, sir. The velocity of water respect to ground, sir.
Into T, no? What is the water with respect to
80,
ground?
sir.
2
2
meters
meter
per
per second.
second.
What is this you have? 40, yeah?
40.
80.
80, sir.
Yes, sir.
The actual direction of the boat is asking. Means this is the actual
Tan
resultant
alpha
velocity,
equal to-
no? He is asking this.
And
How much you are getting? See? tan alpha equals x by
Tan
L.
inverse 1/5.
X is how much? 80. Length is how much, man? 400.
400.
1 by 5.
1/5.
Okay. So this is alpha equals how much? So actual velocity alpha is how much? With what? With perpendicular to, we have to mention that, river flow. Now, can you tell this is the velocity of water now with respect to ground? This direction is upstream or downstream? This direction is upstream or downstream. You have to mention that also. Means like this or like this, you have to mention now. What is the direction? Huh?
Down.
You have to mention because it may be upstream also. So we'll give two options. Downstream is this, upstream is. Remember this? Follow this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes that fellow will give you this. Suppose the river flow. If this is beta only, no? Then what is tan beta? Anyway, you can take L by X. What is L you got already? L 400.
400.
By X is how much you got here? 80. That is 5. So means beta is tan inverse 5. So we can say that he makes both velocity of man with respect to ground makes beta equals tan inverse y with what? River flow direction. Direction of river flow downstream again. What is this? So in the options, he may give any of this. So the three questions, two questions or so you posted, no? Doubts yesterday. Mistakes are there in the paper.
Yes, sir.
The 8 marks you added and you got 60, yeah? Or without that? The marks you're telling is including the bonus of 8 marks or remove that?
Moving that.
That means you're getting 68. Okay. Add that 8 marks also because your answer is correct on 8. You cannot have negative value for that. And any more doubts are there, post it in the doubts group, I'll do it. Okay. Shall I turn this? Hello?
Yes, sir.
1 minute.
Hold on fast. Completed?
Yes, sir.
1 minute, sir.
Sir, can you give revision classes on this, the same chapter?
Pardon?
Motion. Can you keep revision classes in motion and one dimension?
Okay, okay. I'll give the time. Wait. Complete this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Complete.
See, you can attend evening classes also. I'll post that. Okay, password. That's why I kept one lesson lagging for both. Let us work out how it comes out. So this is, still you have any doubts or written in the evening also, I'll take some classes. Let us try to do work. See, sometimes he'll say he wants to cross the river along in the previously minimum time, no? Now the second case is to cross the river along shortest path. Okay, the shortest path means which path you have? This is x is 0. Which is the shortest path, man? Shortest path between 2 points? Between 2 points, 2 lines is what? The perpendicular distance. Understood this? So the perpendicular distance means this one, no? So he wants to go. That means when he starts at this point O, so he must so to cross that, if he crosses like this, he'll reach somewhere. So he has to make an angle and cross, no? If velocity of man with respect to water is this, then river will push him in this direction. So this will be the resultant velocity or not?
Yes.
So this is the velocity of man with respect to ground. So that fellow will reach here. Understood this? Clear? So here he will be reaching at time equals t. Now you can see here x is 0, y is some L. So for this, so in this case, drift is 0 now. Now what is the value of x? Already you got, remember? That is, you have must be 0. Do you agree with this? Clear? This indicates must be 0. This indicates what is sine theta. That means to cross the river. So what is the angle he has to make? Sine inverse velocity of water with respect to ground by man with respect to water. Understood this clearly?
Yes, sir.
Hello? So to cross the river, it is perpendicular to river flow. What you should do? The man should swim into one angle. The man should swim at an angle. How much is that? Pi by 2 plus theta. That is pi by 2 plus sine inverse with what? Do you agree with this?
Yes.
In which direction that is? Downstream. What is that? Because with this is the river flow direction, no? This is a 90, this is theta. So what is the total angle it makes? This total angle is how much? Theta plus pi by 2. Agreed or not? This is the velocity of water with respect to ground. It always flows like this, no? Am I right or not? Complete this.
1 minute, sir.
Shall we turn this? Shall I turn this?
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir.
So we are seeing minimum time to cross the river conditions and along the shortest path, what are the conditions? Shall I turn this? So now let us get back. You have seen just now that fellow must reach this. For reaching this, he has to cross like this. This is the velocity of man with respect to water. This is velocity of water with respect to ground. This is velocity of man with respect to ground. Okay. This is vector sum of these, And this is theta, this is 90. So he has to reach here. So you have seen that theta is pi by 2 plus sine inverse. What do you have? Velocity of water with respect to ground, velocity of man with respect to water. Now, what is the value of sine man? Sine of some value should be what? Sine inverse theta must be less than or equal to 1 only, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is possible only if, therefore, velocity of water with respect to ground. Okay. Sine of any angle. You can write like that. As sine of any angle cannot be therefore what you should have must be less than this. Agreed? That means clear his velocity with respect to ground, or we can say that river velocity must be less than okay, this is the condition. Then only he can reach the point opposite to A. Understood this? Clear or not? Okay. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the resultant velocity? That means velocity of man with respect to ground. If you look at the figure, you'll be seeing this one, this is nothing but Pythagoras theorem. Tell. Am I right or not?
Sir, can you explain that point as sine of any angle cannot be greater than 1? So, velocity of what?
Now, that is mathematics. See, suppose sine alpha, what is the maximum value should be always equal to less than 1, no?
Sir.
They agree or not?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now, this is also some angle only, no? Sine inverse. If you take it as alpha, then what is sine alpha? This one only, no? Agree? Hello?
Yes, sir.
That means we should have sine alpha will be how much then? VWG by VMW. This should be less than 1. That means it should be less than 1, no? Hello? Understood or not?
Yes, sir. Now I
Take this as some alpha. Now sin alpha is this. That should be less than or equal to 1. For that to happen, this should be, the numerator should be lesser than denominator, no?
yes, sir.
Understood this?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
You only can take sin inverse, the same thing I am explaining once again. Let it be some alpha. Then what is sin alpha mean? Now, as sine of anything should be less than or equal to 1, this implies this should be, so that means, agreed. It cannot be equal. See, if, remember, VWG is equal to VMW, then what will happen? Alpha will be what? 1. Sin alpha will be 1. This gives you alpha as a 90. Understood this? 90 means he'll cast a cross like this. He'll never reach, no? Hello? You're thinking like that?
Yes, sir.
So if man's velocity was less than river's velocity,
Correct,
then what
no,
will
this one?
happen, sir?
Pardon?
Sir, I'm asking. You wrote as sign of any.
Next is that, we'll see that. Okay?
Okay, sir.
That means in this case, I'll discuss that case also. That fellow has to swim like this. This is alpha, no? And this is the water velocity. Total angle will be how much? 180. Okay, this is the velocity of man with respect to water. This is velocity of man, water with respect to ground. He cannot reach. He cannot cross the river only. So always there should be some theta. Understood this? Is it clear or not?
Yes,
Follow
sir.
this?
Clear, sir.
Most of the things are all common sense. We have to use it. Shall I return this?
Next.
Sir, in this certain velocity, no, sir. Here,
Right?
sir, in this certain velocity, no, sir.
Yes.
Vm, sir, in that plus, no, sir.
This
Square
one.
root of, sorry,
No, man, this is the hypotenuse, man. We need this, no?
yes, sir.
This square minus this square, no?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir, understand.
Completed?
1 minute.
Finished this? Hello?
Just a minute.
Fast, man. Do it fast. Completed?
Yes, sir.
Now if you revisit the same thing again, what is the time of crossing the river? This is the river. That is
L
the
by
result.
BMW cos
This
theta.
is
L
velocity
by
of
V.
man. No, this will be this. Okay. So you can see the time of crossing is L by, what is this?
BMW cos theta.
Now you got sine theta. What is sine theta you got? Velocity of water with respect to ground by velocity of man with respect to water.
To water.
So what is cos theta, man? Root over 1 minus sine square theta. Root over 1 minus this is nothing but so this is nothing but agreed. So what is the time taken you get? L by VMW cos theta. Substitute this cos theta. Do you agree with this? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Return the page.
Using both formulas, you can find time, sir.
Hmm?
Using both formulas, you can find time, sir.
Which formula?
This formula and BMW by cos theta.
That
L by
only.
BMW cos theta.
Sometimes theta is not anyway you can find anyway. From there only we got this, no?
Yes.
Using that only we got this, from here only we got this. So directly don't memorize any formulas, man. It's a dangerous thing. See, I'll tell you another way to find is already we found this. What is that? Displacement in the y direction by velocity of man with respect to ground in y direction. This is L. Okay. What is this value? You can see this velocity. Mod, what you have here? Previously you got that. How much? Same thing you got by this method also, no? You can use this also, no? Alternate method. You're doing all this, you can use this. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Is it clear or not?
Clear only, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understood this? Hello? Shall I turn the page?
Yes, sir.
1 minute.
Finished?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Finished.
Note on this. See, I'm explaining the concept again and again. Then I'm dealing some problems. I'm not rushing. You to do the work. Completed?
1 minute,
Hello.
sir.
1 minute, sir.
1 minute, sir.
Done, sir.
1 minute.
Finish, sir.
Done, sir.
Do it. See, you know that. Again, don't mug up. Just light. He wants to cross the river. He has to cross the river to the opposite. Shortest path means he should go right in this. It means velocity of man with respect to ground. Now you are having already velocity of water. You know that is the velocity of man with respect to water. This is theta, this is 90. Okay, what is sine theta? Here, no water flow, how much? 3. And this is 5, huh?
Yes, sir.
Man with
37.
respect to what? So theta is how much? 37 degrees. So his direction with respect to water flow with river flow direction. Understood this? Follow this or not?
Sir.
Followed.
What is the second one? Is resultant
Resultant
velocity resultant velocity of man is nothing but velocity of man with respect to ground. Okay, so we can find this from the triangle only. You can find out now. See, this is understood this. They gave the values now. Pi square minus 3 square. It comes to how much? 4 kmph. The second one. Understood this? What is the third one, man? Time taken to cross the river. T. Already you found that this is nothing but delta y by velocity of man with respect to ground in y direction, you know. That is L by, this is nothing but 4. Already got this now. What is the length he has given? Width of the river? 1. This is 4 kmph. That means 1 by 4 hour. That means 15 minutes. Understood this? So it takes 15 minutes to cross the river. Understood this? Is it clear?
Understood,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
See, now
Yes, sir.
I'll post the numbers of problems you have to do from AS. Then you'll understand better. Understood this? Work
Understood.
out on the same day. Next day you'll be very, very perfect with this. That fear will go. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Right then. Take care. Bye. We'll
Thank you,
read
sir.
tomorrow.
I
Okay, bye. 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 Bye.
हेलो वासे रिकॉर्डिंग करे आप रिकॉर्डिंग करे हेलो रिकॉर्डिंग करे Hello.